Hey everyone, this is the Tamra Show, and I'm excited today. We are Wednesday, April 21st, and things are changing in our market right now. Things are changing across the United States and here in Georgia. And so I've got Sean Greenway with Brand Lift here today, and we're going to talk about what all these changes mean after the last 3 or 4 weeks of the pandemic and all the things that we've been doing.
Yeah, this is exciting news. You and I both, we've been kind of working together almost on a daily basis to try to work through this with marketing, your agents, all of the training that Remax has that you have. But yesterday, what was it, about 3 or 4 o'clock? The governor, great news. I'll let you talk more about that because I don't know all the details. But um, let's talk a little bit about what all did he talk about on the opening yesterday.
So obviously the goal is to get things back to normal and start to get our economy moving again and healthy
Mm-hmm.
like it was pre the pandemic. But there's still going to be many phases to the opening of things and the social distancing and that kind of thing. One thing is this Friday that they are going to start to open the small businesses, so nail salons, restaurants. I said nail salons because my nails need it. Restaurants,
Don't forget
hair,
gyms. Don't forget the gyms.
gyms, that's right. And restaurants, all these things are going to have social distancing type of things.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything's going to be opening up, and then they're going to let the shelter in place expire on April 30th. And so they're just really saying anybody who, has a condition or
Mm-hmm.
is elderly, like those kind of people are really just
Mm-hmm.
going to still need to continue to, stay away and
Yeah.
kind of keep themselves sheltered.
Yeah, it's kind of mixed out there. I've talked to several people, and of course you can go all over Facebook. It's kind of a 50-50 split on what people think about this. I
Mhm.
personally have no problem talking about it. I think this is the best thing. I mean, I think there'll be more problems if we stay in too long, with other situations. So as long as everybody respects people's distance, I got a long span. I probably got a 7 foot arm span, but all right, you come within. I saw a T-shirt. It says, "If I can turn around and hit you, you're standing too close."
Too
So,
close.
so y'all remember that if you're watching this, don't get too close. So as long
Yeah,
as they
I mean,
respect it, we're gonna be fine.
I think so. And they do have their opinions. And, my thing is I get it because I've got children and I care about everybody that I'm around and that kind of thing. And, you know, I think the thing is, though, the economy is huge. And so, all of a sudden over the last couple of weeks, you started hearing, abuse was up and suicides
Suicide,
and looting,
child, yeah, everything.
all these kinds of things started happening. And so it's like it's hard to outweigh one or the other. So I can't fault like the government or on what decisions they're making.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so far they're making what's best for the overall. And
Mm-hmm.
the good thing is, now there's testing here in Georgia for
Mm-hmm.
anybody who wants to get tested pretty much for COVID-19. And they're putting the firefighters, the nurses, and all the key people first, so they take precedence over everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it's just this is our new way of life, and we've just got to grasp it and run with it.
Yeah, I think it is the new normal for a while. I mean, at least for, who knows the numbers, but for another year, there's a lot of people going to be worried about this. Me being a sports fan, uh, I kind of hope that maybe they don't open up too much with like the stadium situation. I say
Yeah.
get them out there, play the games or whatever, and wait for the fan thing, with the stadium fulls until sometime next year. Let's get through this. So let's talk a little bit about how this is going to affect not only just real estate, but business as a whole. What do you see on your side? Because I know you guys have been working probably around the clock the last 24 hours because of this news.
Mhm.
What do you guys expect even as early as this weekend?
So I think that a lot of people are going to be anxious to get out, and they're going to, want to get out in the communities or on the resale side, start looking at houses and doing that kind of stuff. I do think we're going to have some people who are going to be cautious. We need people to get back out there. We need to get back to normal because I was reading today that we had one of the largest decreases in sales since 1980 before. It was like 22 point something percent. And I'm actually going to pull that up real quick, my little notes,
Yeah.
because I do think it's important to get that information right, and I don't want to pass on incorrect
Yeah.
information. So March housing starts fell 22.3%. This is a national market update, so this is not local. It's the biggest monthly drop since 1984. And a lot of it's because builders cut activities. They're uncertain about the buyer demand, supply chains, and the social distancing with their crews. So, the thing is that we've got to get that confidence up, not only with the consumers, with the builders, and then with their banks, because a lot of these banks that were doing construction loans have now pulled back and said, we're not doing any spec loans. It's just, it's one of those things where I think everything that happens in the next weeks to come is going to help get everybody moving again and things going in a positive direction.
Yeah, I think you're right. If things go well, then like you said, the banks, everything will kind of come together. Because I know on one of the calls last week, I guess with the lenders, some of the banks and lenders changed up the, I guess, qualifications through this process a little bit. But yeah, getting everybody back out there is huge, because that leads to the next thing I want to talk about as well, is the employment side. I don't know the current numbers of how many's been laid off or terminated, but of course that's going to go back up over the next month, but it might not go up as quick as what a lot of people anticipate. And I think even Grant Cardone talked about it last week on Friday's call, is that there's a lot of small companies and larger companies that have learned to deal with this lean time, and they may not be quick to pull the trigger to put everybody back on as soon as we come out of this, because they've gotten used to running lean, getting their, whatever profit margins or whatever tighter, and they may be used to that. So anybody that's listening, is that, you're not necessarily, if you've lost your job because of this, God forbid, you may not necessarily jump right back in. It may take some time. So this is not like it's like letting the floodgates open, and then everything's economy's back to normal in 2 weeks. No, like you were saying, it could be a 2 or 3 month process to get back to what we know is normalcy. But I still think we're going to have a lot of the virtual stuff like we've been both doing for the past month. I mean, that's still going to carry on even if the economy gets back, because I think people, not only they're getting used to it, some of them are halfway, whether they admit it or not, they may enjoy being around home more because they realize that they got a wife or kids, and they're just, there's I guess more meaningful now relationships, hopefully, and people are going to do things a little bit different. So we got to be ready for either one, right? Whether it be
Right.
virtual or in person or whatever they need, right?
We do. And I mean, I think, the thing is, I think we'll start to see the jobless claims slow. As a business owner, um, a lot of people applied for different type loans, the SBA and the PPP. And like, as an example, I had applied for the PPP through my bank, and they just had so many applications. And by the time they could get through them all, the funding was gone.
Yep.
And so, that's one of the things I think, though, is either we're going to see the jobless claims slow, or because the funding actually got used up last week, and if there's not additional funding, that may be where people that were holding on furloughing their people are going to go ahead and furlough, because there is still, we've got so all this happened, it came to a screeching halt. It's not going to go like taking off like a race car at a race.
That's
It's
right.
it's got to build its way back up. And like you said, and Grant Cardone and everything, is just because you got furloughed or laid off doesn't mean next week you're going to go back, because yes, everybody's learned how to work. A lot of people at least have learned how to work smarter, harder, trying to figure out where can they cut costs, because things, when they're going really well, you're not paying attention to all the little details, but when things slow down, you have the time to go, wow, do I really need that? Or do I really need to be doing this? What's more important? And so it's all those kinds of things.
Yeah, that's one of the things just in the past month that us as a marketing agency have really seen, is that a lot of companies are starting to learn that it may be more effective and efficient to outsource a lot of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a topic for a whole another show. Is that
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna see a lot of small businesses and medium-sized companies, maybe even large companies, that had thought about, well, maybe now they're going to be outsourcing, whether it be for their marketing, for so many other things, because they're not having to worry about insurance, the taxes and everything else. And then they're working with companies that actually do it every day. And we've got to experience that, and we thank God for that. Is that a lot of these people are starting to realize that, hey, maybe we should outsource. We can't just keep hiring and hiring. Let's do it in an efficient way. And you may see it on your side too. I don't know, like with the agents. I know probably a lot of your, probably a big portion of your employees are commission only, I guess. So,
They are, and that's how I am. That's how Tamra Wade team came to be, was because in 2000, the financial crisis back in 2008, 2009, 10. Well, I got out of working for a builder, not by choice, forced
mhm,
out because of what happened, but came back in, and that's when it made more sense for certain builders of a certain size to outsource their sales and marketing, and
mhm,
not have all the overhead and staff and stuff. And so that's how we ended up going from one builder to 12 builders, was just for that very reason. So, it's an opportunity for a lot of people at this point to maximize the opportunities.
yep,
And the same thing for you. Now is a huge time for me to start marketing
mhm,
myself. And that's what we've been doing for the last 3 to 4 weeks, not
mhm,
expecting that I was going to take on a new builder during this time, because you don't make change when some major things are going on. At least most don't. But as
yeah,
things settle up and they really start to look at their company, they may be like, maybe we do need to do this or that. So who knows?
mhm,
We don't
mhm,
know. But speaking about agents, that's my other, big topic that you and I wanted to talk about, was because everybody's talking about, yay, we're going to go back to normal. Everything's going to open back up and everything. All this hard work that we've all been doing to understand how to sell virtually, and all the social, marketing that we've been doing and stuff, doesn't need to
mhm.
stop. In fact, it needs to stay equal or more. And I just don't want people to go, okay, now I'm busy again, forget all this other stuff, because if they can do everything, they're going to even just do that much better.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things I've noticed, not only with your group, but even at other groups, is that during these times they've had to do videos and do things they normally have been used to. Um, a lot of people have learned to get out of their comfort zone during this time, which is very important. And what you just said, you nailed it. And I think if any agents, I don't care if you're with the Tamaway Group or agent on another brokerage, um, take this time to make a list of things that you may have done that you were uncomfortable with before, that you actually did during this time,
Mm-hmm.
and ask yourself this: did you die? No. Keep doing it, and like you said, do more of it, because when we come out of this, Grant even said this, and I truly believe this: there's more, in a sense, there's a lot more millionaires that are going to come out of the backside of this than probably in any other situation we've ever had before in our country. And I truly believe that, because just through these tough times, um, I've seen a lot going on in a lot of businesses, and I see people that are doing what they should, and going, like you said, going pedal to the metal with their marketing. Those are the ones that's going to keep rising. The ones that don't want to work, well, they showed their true colors through this time period too. And we probably know a lot of people out there in my industry, your industry, that you could probably tell that they wouldn't do anything. Well, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
get the reward for that is nothing, right? If you do nothing, therefore you get nothing. So I'm with you. It's like, here we are. We're Tuesday, ain't we? I forget the days. I guess it's Tuesday. We're 3 days away from opening up the doors to the state. So um, let's go into this just like we've been doing. Do the same thing. Stay steadfast with your marketing. Um, and I noticed yesterday through some emails, looks like you guys have just got plenty of just training tools daily. Like y'all got stuff scheduled almost on the hour. Is that right? For Remax, through the coaching, the calls, and tell us a little bit about, because even the outside ones don't know, you guys do Zoom meetings, or what do you call it, Zoom coffees. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we do coffee with Tamra every Thursday. So that's kind of like where I get to kind of compile the things that have come up during the week, whether it's what's going on in the economy, ideas, different things. And we get on, there's about 20, 30 of us, and we just kind of roundtable stuff together. We do happy hour every Thursday at 5. That's been fun. We tried last Thursday doing guess the emojis, and I didn't do real well at it, but there was some, especially some of the younger ones, that just they knew what all the emojis were. But also, yeah, coaching and training. And what's interesting about it is that we have tons of coaching and training that we're offering right now with Remax True and the Tamra Way team, and the top producers are the ones that are on almost every single one. The ones that are slam busy are the ones that I see on everything. And it's so interesting because I look back at, like, when I was in new home sales, if somebody offered me something to watch or to learn, I mean, there's always something I could take away from it, and I always did it. So it's just kind of interesting how many people get on and which ones are the most consistent, and it's the top producers. And so, and we had that today. So it's, the thing is that I don't want anybody to get away from that. And even, like, I'm committing myself, because once this all goes back to normal, I'm already working crazy. But Sean, you even know, like, I mean, I am like in my office from one direction to the other, and phones and all that, but I don't want to give up on my agents and myself and say, okay, we're just going to go back to the way it was, because I don't want to. Like, I just think I owe it to them, I owe it to myself to continue on and working stronger. And we don't know what the future holds with this whole COVID-19. We don't know if it's going to be back in the fall. So what we have is 3 to 4 short months to really, like, define and perfect our virtual selling and what we're doing, because if it comes back, we're going to be prepared and not be caught like we were this time and like, what do we do? We're going to be like, we got this.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted.
I agree. And you were talking about, a lot of people, I guess, refer to it as getting in the zone or getting in a groove. It's so much easier when you stay in the zone, when you're working, you got things going. But like you said, it will be so easy for anybody over the next few weeks, because, I'm looking outside right now in my office here. It's beautiful outside. The sun's out. They're going to get tempted to slow down and go want to smell the roses. You can still smell the roses when you're working, but they're going to be tempted to want to go get out because they've been in the house too long and not do what they were doing. But anybody that's listening, don't give in to that temptation, because you got to keep the pedal down. You got to keep pushing through this, because like Tamra said, you got, especially if you're real estate, anything to do with real estate, 3 to 4 months, kick it hard through there in case something does come back. And if anything ever comes back, hopefully it's nothing major to what have been locked down lately, but you never know. Like you said, if you're already putting in place, which I know you guys are, the virtual buying process, and either scheduling, even if we're opening up, if somebody doesn't feel comfortable coming out there yet, you guys got everything in place, I'm sure, to get them whatever they need, whether it be the virtual tours, because I noticed a lot of the stuff you guys have got out there. What is the and before we get off today, take them back through that. Right now, if somebody starting this weekend, even though they can get out, if they still don't feel comfortable, give us the basis of what they can do in order to still get the right information, education to buy a house from you guys.
So basically, depends on new homes and resale, but bottom line is you reach out to us, be it through Remax True or the Tamra Way team. You can connect with an agent. We can set up an appointment if you want to go out to a subdivision. We want to make sure that we don't have multiple families in the sales office. We're going to ask some questions to make sure that, you're safe and healthy to be around our people as well. And then we can actually locate the house for them, be it new home or resale, virtually if they don't want to come in, if they
Yeah.
want to stay at home, or if they're not feeling well. And then we can do earnest money contract, home inspection. We can close. Like, we really don't even have to meet if that's needed. We can meet on Zoom like this, but we don't have to physically
Mm-hmm.
be in front of each other. So we can tour houses for them, whatever they need. But that will be a constant thing. So like even on my website and on Remax True, my goal going into the next couple months is to get like a true system on our website that really works to that effect,
Mm-hmm.
that speaks to all of this, so there's no question. But at the end of the day, I mean, what you put in, and I'm a firm believer in this, what you put in, you get out. So you can have plenty of time to go play and have fun, but you've got to put in your time and work your butt off, because at least when you do that, then when you go out to play, you're like, oh, I worked hard.
Yeah.
I put in everything, you know, I made sure I did for my family and, you know, for my company and for everybody. And then that's it. Cause trust me, I mean, you know, my husband and I and our kids, they know I work really hard, but when we play hard too. We live on the
That's
lake
right.
and we have fun. So
Work
it's just
hard,
how we
play
go.
hard. Yeah, and
Right. There you
that's
go.
that's the reward of it. Like you said, the reward is so much sweeter when you know you give everything on the. And I always use the football line. When you give everything you got on the playing field, it's so much sweeter when you can win that trophy. To kind of just bring it all back, yeah, this Friday they're going to start opening things up. I know not only the real estate side, but everybody else. Everybody's going to be happy. I've already seen just around town this morning. You know, you can already tell that people's spirits are up, and that's good. We all need that. You know, just as a country and as human beings. So for you, coming in the next week or two, you're going to continue these types of the shows. You're going to stay virtual, but if they need to come in, they need to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Best way to get in touch with you guys.
So you can go to the tamrawadeteam.com or remaxtrue.com. Call our phone number 770-502-6232. Or you can contact us at tamrawaderealestate.com. There's so many ways. I will respond to somebody if they reach out to me on Facebook too. I don't mind
Yeah.
private messenger and stuff like that. So again, we're here to help. Key thing is everybody needs to stay safe. Make sure you give everybody their space and wash your hands and do all those
Yes.
things that we've learned that we must do. And
Yes.
and if you're sick, stay home.
That's
Don't
it.
go to work or don't go to places right now. Let's just
Yeah.
try to get this thing gone. Sounds great. Well, thank you, Sean. Thank you, everybody, and look forward to our next show. Hope to see you. Thanks.
See you guys. Y'all have a good one.